Hey, Jules Blessed Vegan, and as always, welcome to my channel. And for those of you who are new, I know you can benefit. I am in a bad place, people. Bad. I'm not even kidding you. I'm an emotional wreck. I am just in such a bad place. Like, I don't even know what to do. I'm in this black hole with my food and playing the game of, well, let me try this diet. And I say diet, it's supposed to be a lifestyle, but let me try this lifestyle and maybe this lifestyle. And in all of it, I have lost myself completely. I have these people in my head with all of their rules, and it's only a chance for me to put myself down and feel that I failed. And now all I see is this super obese bowling ball face. And I took this picture with my friend yesterday, and I kind of leaned back to match her and just felt like freaking Jabba the Hutt, okay? And the sun was in my eyes, and she's all cool with her sunglasses, and she's got it going on. I have the sun in my face, wrinkles for days, just horrific. So I was just putting myself down to no end. And I can't even repeat the words here because they're so verbally abusive. And it's just so sad. And then, like, I was at work today and everything that could go wrong went wrong. And I was seemingly at fault for every single thing, you know? And it was really hurtful because it's kind of like a backslap when someone says, well, I know you had good intentions, but the minute you hear but, you're screwed, right? And then from there it went to, well, you know how you are, again, so screwed. And, you know, you can just be very abrupt and it's hard on people and you need to approach people this way. It's like, you know what? I'm not clairvoyant. I mean, I am highly enlightened and God is an advocate for me. But I'm not clairvoyant and I don't know why I always have to seemingly know to protect the insecure people who are going to have a nervous breakdown. I'm laughing because I don't want to cry. Who are going to have a nervous breakdown if I call them on their stuff, right? Oh my gosh. And then I'm talking about boundaries, and I gave one, like, you know, day before yesterday, because yesterday I was at Dodger Stadium. I drove a few hundred miles and it was a 15-hour day. But anyway, I think the day before it was on like 4 kinds of boundaries, and one person is a healthy boundary, one was a non-existent boundary, and there were 2 others which I'm trying to think of. But anyway, this one is actually 5 types of boundaries, but I've got to continue with boundaries because when I don't have them, I get in big trouble. And I'm a sucker. I'm a total sucker. I always try and see the best in people to my detriment. To my detriment. I mean, like if evil's lurking around, I can usually sense it. But in general, I accidentally give people way too many chances. And then if they are like just surprisingly, shockingly awful, I try and fill in the blanks of what probably happened or how misunderstood they are, whatever. There are evil people. There are wicked people. There are selfish people. There are ugly people who ignore the elephant in the room and pull the rug out from under me, right? Manipulate things so that I'm absolutely at fault. I need to work on my boundaries, honestly, but let's think about those. So it was non-existent, which I said I'm sometimes. And then it was healthy, which is barely sometimes. And then it was one that was kind of half and half. Oh, I was thinking of it. I almost saw it. Can you think of it? I'm going to have to look. Oh yeah, so it was porous. That's what I meant by half and half. Because like it can seep through, but it's not terrible, but they're kind of loose or porous. And then the other one was rigid, where their wall is just up all the time. That's not me, and it's who I can never be. And I've told that funny story more than once when I was a little kid, and I'd be in a fight with a friend, and I'd show up the next morning ready to play, and they'd be like, "We're in a fight," and I'd be like, "Still? When's the fight gonna be over? Because I want to play." That's how I am. I, Okay, you guys know me. If anybody knows me, you know I do this. I get super giggly because I'm overtired. And then I'm trying not to cry because I'm just devastated today. I cannot even tell you, the punches were just coming so quick, you know? And I just wasn't ready. I just came in a really good frame of mind, and I thought it was going to be a really good day. And man, and it's Teacher Appreciation Week. Just like, one thing that was really sweet though, I think school psychologist gave out these beautiful little lunches, if you will. They were these pretty little trays with a bow, and it came with a flower, and inside was a bunch of fun, wonderful things. And my friend had one, and it had like meat in it and little baby cheese thingies, and I was just like, that's a hard no. And I was thinking, I'll just give her mine. I mean, I could see there were blueberries and raspberries and things, but I was just like, oh, look what's it. They made a complete vegan one for me. It was all fruit. It was so lovely. So yes, I will hold on to that. It was very considerate, and that was a nice plus to a horrific day. Okay, but let's get into those types of boundaries. If you guys can relate at all, I need them. So this is from Cure Brady, which I will happily share in the description of this video. And it says, effective boundaries keep your relationship strong and healthy. Boundaries refer to limits that you put in place to protect your well-being. Hear, hear. When boundaries are clearly communicated, along with the consequences for breaking them, your partner understands your expectations. And again, this could be in the workplace, it could be in intimacy, and anything. We really do need to speak up and indicate what the consequences are, which I get. In an earlier post, I discussed ways to establish healthy boundaries in your relationship. This post identifies some types of boundaries to consider in your couple relationship to keep it running smoothly, which is fine. Because you guys know, sometimes my communication with my dude, right? I think I'm communicating, but no, not so much. Anyway, in order to establish effective personal boundaries, you have to know yourself, communicate your boundaries to others, and follow through with the consequences. And yeah, I don't do that. You know, I let people walk on me sometimes. And I was noticing, because I was being super verbally abusive, and it wasn't just yesterday when I was going off on how fat and ugly I am, which was so tragic. But it's also where, and it is something that I just learned in my childhood. You know, I felt so helpless in my childhood that when things would go wrong, no one was going to hear me. No one was going to listen to my point of view. It was just easier to decide I must have done something. And this is a real codependent thing, and I can certainly use a code meeting, I'll tell you that. But it was just easier to beat myself up and just say what I must have done wrong. I was just seeing. Yeah, this is Codependence Anonymous. It's such a fantastic book on boundaries, but there's a part 2 that's called Codependent No More. And man, that's one worthy of striving for. But anyway, it's okay. You know, as long as I'm breathing, I have to revisit these things, and I'm happy to do it. So it says, oh, I should have touched my eye. It says they're about respecting your needs in your relationship, and when you're uncomfortable about something in your relationship but don't speak up and share it with your partner, resentment can build. And it's unfair to the partner too. I mean, you may not get the response that you want, but to not even give them a chance to amend it is super unfair, which is why so many people divorce. And what do they call it? Sometimes they'll be honest and say irreconcilable differences, I think. But it's another one that I'm trying to think of. Like, who knows? They mutually decided to blow the relationship. But anyway, here are some relationship boundaries to consider to keep a relationship strong. And again, this could be anywhere. I have a lot of people who violate my space and stuff. It doesn't have to be intimate. So physical boundaries. Physical boundaries refer to your body, privacy, and personal space. I got hit in the head. A kid threw. Oh my gosh. This is my life, and I'm happy to do it. 28 years in, right? But a kid took one of those little wooden blocks, and just threw it. And I know it wasn't to hit me per se, but it missed the objective and hit me right in the head on just the perfect edge of that block. And oh my gosh, people, it hurt. It really did hurt. And well, I certainly would have appreciated an immediate apology because I was really shocked over the pain. Instead, it was an accident. Really, how? That you accidentally took a cube that didn't belong to you, that you accidentally threw it across the room in my direction. Oh my gosh. Bear with me, people. I'm still in shock and mourning over Naomi Judd dying. Like, this is why I've got to get into all of this, because honestly, I mean, if you guys know me, I've suffered. I have bipolar. I have suffered for all of my adult life and part of my childhood for sure. But for 10 years I had suicidal ideations where every minute, every single day I was planning my death and just trying to stay away from sharp objects, ropes, pills, like anything that would actually take me out. Horrific. So I can only have compassion for her. Only compassion that Naomi, stayed as long as she could. Anyway, that's why I have to get into this. So, yeah, he hit me in the head with that. And, of course, I gave a consequence and stuff. But that's what I can't stand. When you just suddenly have physical pain in your body for seemingly no reason, do you feel punished? I feel punished. And it was probably because I used to be hit and whipped when I was a child. But honestly, it's like, I'm all good for pain when you've actually fallen. But when you just have pain, like unannounced, unexplained, that feels punishing to me. It really does. I can't stand it. Okay, so like when that hit me in the head and I wasn't expecting to be in pain all day, yeah, it was really a punishing feeling to me. I was very upset. Okay, so it says you might enjoy public displays of affection or be uncomfortable with it. It's per person. You have to be able to speak up about it. If your partner kisses you in public and you're uncomfortable with it, you need to let them know. Sharing your preferences and expectations might feel difficult, but not sharing them can make you feel disrespected. It might be easy to establish a boundary around your partner not slapping you. Perhaps the boundary and consequence is quick to define in this case. If you slap me, I will leave. Thank you. However, in some other areas, it's trickier, like that public display of affection. And I wish enough people would say, if you're smacking me, I'm gone. And mean it. And actually mean it. Sharing your personal boundaries can improve your relationship. Know what you are and are not comfortable with and share this with your partner. They may not like it at first, but if you're consistent, they'll figure it out. If you need time to decompress after work before socializing with others, set a boundary around it. Doing this will keep you from feeling drained, as it will allow you to honor your needs. Yeah, I mean, when we wake up in the morning, we don't even talk. It's no offense to either of us. We just go about our stuff, and 10 or 15 minutes in, we'll start talking, but that's just kind of our, way. We know we need that quiet, at first in the morning to get it going. And yeah, sometimes when I first get home, I am so busy. I've been going all day. I just drove 50 miles. I'm trying to get in the house. I'm trying to take care of the animals. I finally, help with my husband's dinner or whatever. I'm barely getting myself together, and I just need a moment, And it's not Calgon take me away, because I can ill afford the time in that moment. But my husband kind of knows to give me a moment before he says, so how was your day? But I'm blessed that he asks how my day was, right? So it says you could say something like, I need 15 minutes to relax after work before we invite the neighbors over. If you invite them over before I relax, I'm going to relax in private, and you'll need to entertain them until I come out, which most guys would not want to do. Okay, number 2, emotional boundaries. In order to establish emotional boundaries, you need to be in touch with your feelings. Yeah, what is your truth? Healthy emotional boundaries require you to know where you and your partner begins. And again, that's what I was talking about as a child. I didn't get to have those boundaries. I never knew where I started and somebody else ended. I was very enmeshed in that setting. So it took a lot of years for me to figure out how to be my own person and have those boundaries. If your partner's upset and you notice yourself sharing this feeling, a boundary might be needed. I accidentally do it all the time. I've gotten a little better at it, but if I don't actively practice, I will fall prey again. I honestly need to make sure that I understand that's their problem. Like, I've had people die, and of course part of me dies. It's inevitable. If you love someone, part of you will die. But I didn't die, and I was required to get on with it. You know, it's stuff like that. Notice when you feel guilty, ashamed, upset, and unraveled or unvalued. Boundaries might be needed when you notice these feelings coming up around certain issues and situations. Does it belong to you? If you're upset and your partner tries to fix it, you could feel as if your partner isn't hearing you. Your partner might be trying to help you, but it just leaves you feeling more upset. This is a place where a boundary might be helpful. You could say, when I'm upset, I'd like you to listen to me without trying to fix it. I just need to vent something, and when you try and fix it, I don't feel heard. If I want your advice, I'll let you know. That's a really tough one because men feel helpless, right? They are fixers. They want to fix things right away, whereas women want to just process, you know? So that is a tricky one. But I will often say, I just want, please just let me share. I don't need you to fix it. All right, sexual boundaries. Sexual boundaries refer to the expectations around physical intimacy, what is and isn't okay with you sexually. Boundaries are around frequency, sexual comments, unwanted sex touch, expectations around others' involvement in your sex life, like a threesome, and what sexual acts are preferred and off limits should be discussed. That's an awkward conversation, but my gosh, how many years are you going to go? You know, before you truly say what works for you and what doesn't, right? Healthy sexual boundaries include mutual agreement, mutual consent, and an understanding of each other's sexual limits and desires. It's a lot easier if you've been with someone since your youth, but still, people have a right to discuss it because people change over time, as do their needs for so many reasons, whether it's literally a situation of like menopause where what you used to do doesn't work for you anymore or is now painful, or you'd like to explore another way of being, stimulated or something, or if it's a situation where, this person has had a desire for years but couldn't communicate it because they were afraid. Like, it's unfortunate that people can't have those conversations, especially in marriage, If you were sexually abused in the past and you are triggered during certain positions, a sexual boundary is needed. You might want to avoid sexual contact with your partner if you are reminded of a traumatizing experience. Establishing boundary around what is comfortable for you can keep your sex life healthy and happy. You could say, I have a hard time enjoying a certain sexual position because it reminds me of a difficult experience. In order for me to enjoy sex, I need to avoid that position. I will let you know if I become bothered so that we can switch positions. There's little things like that for me. I was kind of lucky. I didn't know if intimacy was going to just ruin me because of my previous abuse. But luckily, we've had good communication. Okay, intellectual boundaries. Intellectual boundaries encompass ideas and beliefs. So boundaries around showing respect for different views and ideas can keep your feelings from being hurt. Talking down to someone or treating them as though they are not smart enough to understand what you are trying to say can damage your emotional intimacy. If you feel as though you can't discuss certain topics with your partner because you believe they don't respect your opinion or put you down, a boundary might be needed. For me, it's the opposite. I'll be discussing stuff with my husband and he'll be like, well, do you think I'm stupid? Okay, dude, I would never be with a stupid person. Like, that's just straight up. But, I'm obviously pushing a I say boundary, but like a button for him. Whatever it is, maybe overwhelmed by the topic, I don't even know. But no, I would never be with someone I thought was stupid. But anyway, that's a whole other topic we have to have for his boundary. So when you're afraid to share your views or opinion because of your partner's responses, you could feel hurt or upset. If your partner calls you names when you have a different opinion or political view, you could feel as though they don't value your thoughts or beliefs. You think, oh my gosh, a boundary around this can allow you to share your opinions honestly. You could say, it hurts me when we disagree politically, and you tell me my opinion is wrong. It makes me feel like you don't respect my views. If you say that my opinion is wrong, I will remind you not to and end the discussion if you continue to say it. Not everyone can talk politically. What's kind of silly is my husband and I have different opinions, but then when it comes to voting, he'll be like, well, just tell me how to vote because I don't want to vote against you. Like, dude, you have your own opinions. It's okay. It'll all work out in the wash. All right, number 5, financial boundaries. Financial boundaries are all about money. When we went to all those, when we were getting ready to get married, and they had us take a series of tests and everything, it always came up with raising children and money. We always got 60% on those. Everything else was 100% agreement. And they weren't playing. Like, we have always struggled when it's time to talk about finances and children. So financial boundaries are all about money, boundaries around joint versus separate accounts, how much goes into savings, what purchases you want to make, and how much discretionary funds you will each have can keep you both on the same page where your finances are concerned. Having different rules and agendas related to where and how you spend your money can cause a great deal of strain on your relationship. If you feel as though you are often fighting about money, boundaries are probably needed. Discussions about your financial goals up front can keep finances from becoming a point of contention. If you agree to put money into a separate fund to pay for vacation and you feel your partner isn't contributing, this could upset you. Having a boundary around this can be helpful. You might say, I want to go on a nice vacation with you, but we both need to contribute to the vacation fund for that to happen. If you tell me when you contribute to the fund and how much you're putting in, I will match it. That is very interesting. Okay, because for me, every time I know a lot of couples, they keep all their money separate. But I've seen a lot of couples, like that's a key to exiting the relationship at any time because they have all their money separate. Now, I'm all for same account, and then if there's like a second savings so that you can surprise yourself occasionally or something like that, or, a separate little credit card to be able to, have some freedom. I totally get that, but completely separate. Wow. Let me know in the comments below if that's your story. I know it works for some people. It kind of freaks me out, and I've never done it, even though I'm a little more responsible with money, but that's all part of the relationship, right? And just growing together in that way. So I do choose to have common accounts, but to keep each other posted on what's up, and maybe a little bit of a side thing, for just fun or some personal choices. But anyway, I know it's different for every relationship. So boundaries help your relationship function effectively. When you notice that you are feeling disrespected, taken advantage of, or hurt, you might want to consider how putting a boundary in place could improve this. Knowing and respecting your personal limits and needs can improve your couple relationship and keep it healthy and strong. And again, a lot of these can be applied to anything in life. I think it's a good article. I'm going to post it in the description. If you need some of those hot tips on how to present your problem, you should practice those little scripts maybe. I'm going to pray about some of them, but I might have to keep visiting boundaries for a moment. With some students who have been manipulating and trying to get me into trouble, I'm trying to figure out my boundary. It's probably going to be, we're just sticking, if it's not school specific, if it's not content related, please don't tell me. There's somebody else. Let me send you the counselor. You know what I mean? I have to make sure that I'm not in every hat because it can get me. Okay, like if you like journeys, if you haven't, subscribe. Let me know in the comments below if you can relate at all to any of those. And until we talk again, best of all, know that you are blessed.